All right, and here we go. We are here at South Portland High School. We are live. We are crushing it here in the Learning Commons. And of course, I have to give a shout out to Andy Wallace, the librarian, who probably put all of this space together. He was in here giving tours of his library. So we are incredibly excited to kick off this morning. We are up here in Maine. It is quite the weather for sure coming up from Massachusetts, and it is a deluge here. But with that, we are still ready to rock and roll. We have a full day of learning, we have a full day of collaborating, and we're going to have a full day of podcasting. So I'm really excited to meet many of our speakers today. We're going to hear about their sessions, hear about their work, and then attend their sessions. I have a session later. I think I'm in a lunchtime panel, but this morning, before the keynote from Amanda Fox, we're going to welcome in a few guests. First of all, kick off today for our Stronger Together podcast here up in Maine with Mike Muir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome.
It's great to be here. What a great event, and especially after we braved the storm to get here.
Right. It was like a monsoon. Like we were walking, like normal people would stay in their house all day.
Yeah, the roads were a little scary for me coming from the north, but well worth it to be here today for this event.
Awesome. So for those who don't know you or your work, share what you do.
I'm the tech director for the MSAD 44 school district, which is Bethel Schools. It's a tiny school system. We've got about 650, 700 kids pre-K through 12. But we've been one-to-one K through 12 for a very long time. And some folks know me as being very active in our statewide Maine Learning Technology Initiative, and I'm a former director of MLTI.
Okay, and what's MLTI?
So Maine was the very first state to do a one-to-one learning with laptop initiative. They provided a laptop to every 7th and 8th grade student and teacher starting in 2001. And so we've been at this for 22 years. And we are still the only state that is one-to-one. And we placed a focus early on teaching and learning rather than the hardware and software or learning necessarily how to use a computer, and really made the technology in service to pedagogy.
No, and a little fast fact, I actually was one that started the same initiative in Massachusetts, modeled after Maine. So I came up, I worked with Apple and met with Governor Angus King, and we did that in BWLA, Berkshire Wireless Learning Initiative. So it was great.
Well, I did, because of my involvement in Maine's initiative, I did go out to Western Massachusetts and help one of their initiatives.
So we probably met.
That's what I'm thinking. When I saw you this morning, I thought I know you from somewhere. So
yeah, so that is probably where we met back in 2004.
Yep.
And
so we have an excuse 20 years later not to remember.
Okay, yeah. Exactly. So what is the work you're going to be doing here today?
So I'm going to be sharing a presentation that I originally did at the middle level conference to kind of introduce folks to AI. I think it seems to have come out of nowhere, but in fact, it's been around for a long time. And kind of focus on some of the things that middle school teachers worry about, like kids cheating and what are appropriate and inappropriate ways for kids of that age group to use technology. It's pretty introductory. But it's what a lot of newbies to AI have found really useful.
In your role, how have you implemented it into your schools?
We haven't done much with it so far. In fact, the admins have come into more contact with it through various presentations they've attended. And so, for example, our special ed director is finding that tools like Magic School are really good for drafting IEPs. She was worried that people would just use it to create an IEP. But she finds that if you treat it as a first draft, you can then make sure it's appropriately applied to the individual student in a more intelligent way, and that they're meeting their requirements. But she said it saves so much time because it lays out so much of the groundwork for you.
Yeah, and actually the next interview coming in is Jenny Long from Magic School. So nice. It's exciting that they are here, they are a part of this. And so as part of this event is a bigger piece of working with Actum. And have you worked with that organization as well?
I've been involved with Actum for decades. I certainly through the work with MLTI back from the early 2000s, but even back in the 1990s, I was doing presentations and involved with things at Actum. They've been a great organization. And I think one of the things I really like about them is they're geared as much to the classroom teacher who may be a newbie to tech as they are geared to the tech director who you hope is a little more versed.
Yeah, no, Acton was one of the first state events I attended when I became a district director of technology, and it's been an incredibly welcoming place. I've been here a few times, and I'm excited to be back. And so, besides presenting today, what are some of the things you're looking to learn?
I'm hoping to get more ideas from folks. AI isn't new. I wrote a book for ISTE 34 years ago on artificial intelligence.
Oh, wow.
And so it's been around for a long time, but it's really hit the point of being available in a widespread way to the average person that it seems new to schools. And I think we have a lot to figuring out to do. And so I'm hoping by attending other sessions to get some good ideas to take back to my district.
So share a little about your book.
It was a long time ago. It was focused on logo and artificial intelligence.
And what was the name of it?
Fantastic Journey Through Minds and Machines. And
Okay.
I don't know if you guys remember how ISTE used to publish stuff. It was on 8.5 by 11. The cover was just a piece of colored oak tag, and it was all spiral bound. And you bought it from the ISTE store. And it may have even been before ISTE had a website. And what it did was it would take common artificial intelligence type programs like Doctor and or blocks where you could give verbal commands to move blocks around, and have you give a background about the real AI that it's based on, and then a very basic logo program that would illustrate that kind of thing. But then it came in true logo fashion with a list of improvements that you could choose to make to the program. And those basic programs came, I think, on a CD or a floppy disk with in 3 different versions of logo.
Oh, wow. So how has that shifted into today's education?
Well, clearly that book was focused on a computer science classroom or a math classroom that was going to be teaching logo and wanted to focus a little bit on AI so it could be high interest. A lot of my work in those 30 some years has really focused less on using technology as a tool and more about looking at the pedagogical uses and how could it enhance engaging teaching techniques. And so I've gotten a lot more into project-based learning. I've gotten a lot more into creating content. How can we use tech to communicate with others and connect kids with experts in the field and that kind of thing.
Oh, so we have a few people tuned in. We have people coming in here. We are live on the web. For our last question, what are some of the entry points for educators looking to get into AI?
I think some of the tools like school.ai or Magic School that are designed to help teachers specifically with different kinds of tasks. It's generative AI, kind of like ChatGPT, but much more directed to a teacher so that a teacher doesn't have to learn a lot of specific types of prompts. And I think that's some low-hanging fruit. I also think there's some good tools coming out of code.org and other organizations for teaching kids about AI, like the Ocean program that lets you help a robot learn about whether something's a fish or trash. And it helps you understand how generative AI works.
Awesome. Well, Mike, I hope you have an awesome day today. What is the session you're going to be presenting on?
I can't remember the name.
Okay.
I think it has the word middle school in it. I think it talks about getting ready for AI in the future.
Oh, all right. So for all of you attending today, make sure to check out Mike's session, follow his work. And for those of you tuning in, check in all day. We're going to have all of our presenters here sharing their work and sharing about their session. So thank you. We are here from Rainy, Maine at South Portland High School. We're going to be with you all day long. We have Amanda Fox keynote coming up in about 20 minutes.
Thanks, Matt.